You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats, and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend. These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end. Don't forget about your ults, you need to cherish each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults, you need to cherish each and every little...
Awesome. Chat room says everything sounds good. And it's like old school chat room people. It's Ken from Chicago and Gumps.
I'm in there now. Gump and Ken.
All right. This game does look super pretty.
Yeah. Oh, I'm summoning a boss here. Let's see how this goes.
Good luck.
My goodness.
So how's Guild Wars 2 going for you too, Bill? You've been playing a lot of that lately.
Oh yeah, fantastic. It's still my favorite by a long ways.
New expansion out yet? Isn't it end of the month? Or was it?
February 28th is the release date.
That's coming up soon.
Yep. And I nuked my old engineer character so I could roll up a new one.
Oh.
So I'm kind of running through everything again.
Yeah.
Getting world exploration and everything like that. I really like the new engineer trait line that's coming up, where you get your ultra mech.
Oh, now I have to go back. Shoot, I was gonna say this might be the one expansion that I don't play in Guild Wars 2, but
having a mech is I think I don't know. I still think it's the best MMO that I've ever played.
I was actually talking about it before you joined us, and it's really, for me, and I know it's just about, well, I have to get my mount and I have to get to there, but I shouldn't feel so frustrated just going through the open world. And I didn't feel that way with original Guild Wars 2. I definitely felt that way with Heart of Thorns. I dislike that open world. The more I play it, the less I like it.
The power creep in Guild Wars 2 has gone to the point where it's trivialized that a little bit. Heart of Thorns is
but you
much
still have to
now.
Get to the power, to that power. You still have to get to that point and get the gear.
It's not that hard.
Well, but I played for, gosh, after, let's just say even the main game or even Heart of Thorns, and there were months where I didn't get gear improvements or, and I would do all my quests and do all the activities, and we raided and we did fractals, and I just never got my gear.
You kind of have to plan your gear, because if Guild Wars that's where it falls down a little bit, is you don't get gear as drops. You pretty much have to be either crafting or buying it from the auction.
Yeah.
So that's probably it, and it's probably best. Like, the biggest thing that I found to help with survivability and just general fun, player power, that kind of thing, was to sit down and look at your build in terms of interactions. Like, your build should always have like 4 or 5 traits that kind of bounce off of each other. Like, when you do a certain type of damage, then that should multiply based off of multiple traits, and then your gear has to reflect those traits. Like, if you want to do poison damage or burning damage on your character because that's your favorite skills to run, you need to plan all your traits around that. You need to plan your gear around that as well. And you kind of have to tune it. I mean, it's dirt simple to get exotic level gear, which is 2 tiers below the top level, but it's still good enough to do anything. Like, you could technically even raid with exotic level
Didn't
gear.
we go through, you and me, and get my character all geared up, and I still... Like, I seem to remember buying... Like, talking to you and getting some gear crafted and buying some gear and...
I don't know. I don't remember doing that. I know we talked about it many times,
Yeah.
but I don't think we ever got that as far as to do that.
Hey, no, we're not. We might do a one-off at some point. We've been talking about doing a one-off podcast for Helion City's asking, is the podcast back? We've been
Yeah, I see.
talking about doing a one-off podcast for, what, a year and a half now?
Yeah, just trying to coordinate with Harry. Like,
Yeah.
it's got to be a... Like, I think we got to dig up... Like, it... I mean, it would be really easy to just sit down and do a how have you been kind of podcast and throw it out there and everything like that. I'd like to land on a topic, though, or something that we could actually kind of get our teeth into and maybe research a bit and have a kind of a directed conversation about.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do both, I guess. We could have a how are you doing and then talk about the... I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to go into a rant on cash shops, and then I decided no. It's like talking about politics.
Right?
There must be a video game going on here somewhere. Or
Somewhere.
Like
I'm just trying not to get too far ahead of you because it's so easy for those of you who haven't played Lost Ark to just get into a flow and just do quest after quest. It's like, you know what? It's like Civilization's one more turn. I just need one more turn. What do you mean it's 4 a.m.? What are you talking about? Yeah. That's what I'm finding. So I'm trying not to get too far ahead of you because I know I don't want to get to the next zone before you're ready to.
What is it?
I do like, as a confirmed alcoholic though, that my progression on this character helps all of my characters. It's very, not similar, but in a similar way to not Guild Wars 2, Final Fantasy, all the jobs on one character. You will be very proud of me, Bill. I have a character waiting for my next LOTRO stream that's going to hit level 20 Undying. It'll be my second Undying character.
Ooh, nice.
I only have 2 in all of the characters that I've created in LOTRO.
Yeah, I'd have to log in and check. I know I've hit Undying at least once.
I think you have a couple. I seem to recall you doing that with much more ease than I did. Something about you paying more attention while you played or something.
Well.
Oh yeah, I get to dance. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and Ken from Chicago says, remember going to a venue with thousands of people in a relatively cramped room? Do you remember?
You remember Pax Plague? It was an actual thing before there was an actual pandemic.
Right before there's an actual plague. And do you remember being in our get-together, our meetup, in the basement of that pub, in that tiny room, that the one year we had so many people there, and it was, like, moist in the room, because it was so many people. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, humid. It had its own level of humidity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Different times.
Right?
I wonder if we ever get back to that.
I don't know. I totally miss I miss PAXs, but we never, like, well, I don't know if, I think you took more time off at PAXs than I did, but, like, and not that you took off a lot of time, you just took off any time and went off and did stuff with Isani and stuff like that a couple of times, but, you know, I really liked the busyness of it and the going from place to place and the technical aspects of finding the gear that would work and all that sort of stuff. And looking at it now and the stuff that's available. I was thinking about this the other day, and we can talk about it because we're waiting for Bill. That's the name of our podcast episode if we ever podcast again, Waiting for Bill. And when we started podcasting, especially with multiple hosts, because I'm a bit of an audiophile and I wanted separate tracks for everyone, I was running with 3 separate soundboards, external USB soundboards, so many, like 2 full monitors of just the audio stuff to do virtual audio cables to get stuff together so that I could record onto 3 different tracks and stream out to when we started doing it live, right? And back at you in different mixes so that you wouldn't hear yourself back. And it took up such a big amount of space. And I can do all of that now with this tiny little soundboard.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It was just absolutely crazy. Just the software and the gear to make our recordings worked because we weren't in the same room, right? And what did we start out with? Wasn't on Vent, was it? Because there wasn't Discord. What did we chat on? Skype. We did Skype.
Yep.
And I had multiple instances of Skype. God.
Yeah, I remember that. That was the challenge, or a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day because I have to get some gear to do similar stuff with my school, with my job, and just the stuff that I can get now that just does all this stuff. It's crazy.
So what's the release schedule of this? Like, when did it officially, like, it must have been in a beta or something like that.
Well, this is a Korean game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been out for a few years in Korea. And it launched, it had a beta a while back for the North American version. And then it launched, but that was like weeks or months ago. And then it launched to Head Start on the 10th? 9th on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then free-to-play launch on the 11th. Although they bumped that because there were server issues.
Okay. Oh, looks like Morpheus is a lot more evil than he pretended to be.
No, Morpheus, say it ain't so.
Hopefully I didn't spoil something.
So the other thing, talking about sort of what it was like when we used to do this, when I first started streaming, I would be sitting at like 85, 90% GPU and CPU usage while gaming plus streaming. And I worked so hard to try and get like a second PC going to stream and tried to scrounge up enough parts to make something work or, you know. And now I'm streaming and gaming, and I'm using the NVENC codec. So it's my video card. I'm using like 60% of my video card and 0.6% of my CPU. So yeah, I don't know if you're gonna make it out here before.
I got it any second now, unless I get attacked by bandits again.
This path is closed for now.
Protect Armin against the assassins.
Oh, I agree, guard. I agree. I don't know if Meowitzer is going to make it back in before the downtime. $16,000 queue apparently right now. Jeez.
Oh, I just protected Armin from the assassins.
Well done.
Apparently I have 10 seconds before they kick me out.
Right? There, literally at 9 o'clock, server's down.
Cannot connect to the server. I wonder if that means I have to do the tutorial over again.
Oh, I hope not. You can skip the prologue and get dumped right into the city. Or no, you get dumped into that area where you were there before you got the cart. That's where you get dumped. Okay, I think... chat room, do you have stuff you want to chat about? With no game to play here, there's not much point in streaming unless you want to chat about stuff.
Well, do you want to hop into Guild Wars and I can show you how to not die?
Oh, fine. Let's see if it's. I know I've got it installed. Let's see if it's updated. Yeah, it's updated. All right.
Poor baby.
We'll
That's
go to
terrible.
Guild War. Okay, but now I gotta. Now that that's done, I gotta actually go into Lost Ark. I gotta actually add. Hold on 1 second. So this point didn't. Oh, it succeeded. There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't see it moving ahead.
I was just going slow. So right now we're in. So we're in kind of the. This zone has a map-wide meta event.
Yeah.
And that's what we're in right now. So like nighttime, we're trying to capture and save control points for the Pact.
Right.
So this one doesn't matter because this is one of the minor control points.
Yeah.
We want to go to kind of the next one over to the west, or to the east, pardon me. And this one's a little tougher to get to, but it's one of the more important ones.
I kind of remember this area over here, right? Is that where we're going? This way?
Yeah. Yeah. Where I'm just cleaning up some pocket raptors. Asani is behind me, raging at the fact that I mentioned pocket raptors.
Pocket raptors are awful.
Yeah.
So far, everybody in our chat room has been playing Lost Ark.
It does seem to. I've seen a lot of people in my friends list that are trying it.
It broke 1 million in Steam charts. 1 million, 1 million concurrent.
It's interesting that it's Amazon Games that published it too.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they. How long? When did Amazon acquire the North American rights for that?
A couple of years ago.
Oh, okay. So it's not like they did New World and then realized they needed something that didn't suck.
No. And I don't think New World sucks. I am really, like, I really liked all my time in it. It was only me. And I had other things that were calling my attention more. I absolutely loved the UI. The actual modern game UI. And I go back and I play Final Fantasy and I play LOTRO and I, even going back to Guild Wars 2, just the flat nature of the UI compared to New Worlds.
I don't know. Yeah, the UI was not too bad. The economy stuff was what really kind of turned me off to it. How it was, the economy was basically completely gutted. The integrity of PvP being broken with movement bugs and invulnerability bugs for so long was pretty bad as well. And I think, I mean, for my sake, I don't know about the rest of the world, but for me, certainly, losing the confidence in that was just, like, I didn't want to play a game where, because I wasn't exploiting dupe bugs, my economy was ruined forever.
Yeah.
And because I wasn't exploiting invulnerability bugs in PvP, that I was going to be just fodder for other people.
Yeah.
Like, that just felt weak to me.
Yeah.
So I lost a lot of faith in it. I might come back to it if they ever get to like a bit of a reset, or if they can get back to a comfortable point, but I haven't seen that. I made either the wise decision or the mistake to watch a lot of the Josh Strife Hayes videos on covering New World. He actually did pretty good analysis on a lot of those, I think, anyway, and broke a lot of it down, which was interesting, but it also soured me on New World a lot.
So my gameplay experience was almost completely solo.
Yeah, me too.
And so the combat was good. I thought was solid. The crafting was great. The gathering was great. And I was mostly a crafter and a gatherer in that game with combat sort of to survive. And with all of that, because I didn't PvP, because I didn't do any of that other stuff, I didn't really, it's not that I didn't care, but none of the bugs affected me. Like the economy stuff, I was so not high level in doing, crafting, trying to make my millions. I was just making stuff and selling it. And I didn't really care what I got. And so none of it really affected me. I'm sure if I would have been more invested in the economy as a crafter, it would have mattered, but yeah, it worked really well for me. I wish that
If
go ahead.
you could create your own bubble like that, where you were just soloing, playing, crafting just to make your own gear, like as long as there wasn't a ledge that you had to kind of jump over to get to the final tier of gear that required you to kind of exist in either the PvP space or exist in the trading economy or something like that, then that would be okay. But I think that's not necessarily the case. I don't think it can solo that last tier from my understanding. I don't know. I need to double back on that. I shouldn't say that as a true fact. But that's the other thing too. Deciphering all that, it was low on my list. I was happy to go back and play Guild Wars 2, try a few other games and everything like that. Like that, it felt like I was gonna have to work a little too hard to keep up with what worked in New World and what didn't.
Yeah.
Which is not to say I'm giving up on it forever, but I'm not super keen on it right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shoot. Oh,
no. Did you reset your queue?
Yep.
Oh, well, you can join me in the 4000s then. How about that?
There you go. Darn it. Come on, Steam, restart. Crashes are fun. They should add them in as a gameplay mechanic. What would you think of that?
It's an easy way to clear the queue, I'm telling you.
Right?
I should design games.
You should.
Long queue? Oh, here, I'll just crash 1,000 people in front of you. That should get you in faster. What could possibly go wrong?
And I don't know if it's just me, because Selenia's always more frustrated with it, and I hear complaints and stuff, but it's always been like, oh no, a queue. But I have never, even with, I think the most we were trying to play with the biggest queue was probably before this was Rift. And trying to get in and planning around our queue and stuff like that. But it's just part of an MMO launch, part of a shared server launch. You're gonna have queues, and you just...
WoW had some pretty bad expansion launch queues. I'd say I in my head those were the worst.
And I don't...
Now, that said, Final Fantasy XIV always has a queue, period.
Yep.
Whether the queue is... Like, I think they put it there just so people don't get used to not having a queue.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the last time I didn't have at least like a 10-person queue ahead of me in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah.
That was even before the expansion came out.
Yep. Let's see if OBS picks up. There you go. Took it a second to pick up that Lost Ark was going again. It does not like this menu screen. Oh, 6686 is my lucky queue number.
Well, I'm getting in before you are. I could jump out of the queue and help you get up by one.
Yeah, thanks. Bill, I appreciate you.
I wonder how much of this queue is actually just a concatenated number that is actually just dynamic spinning up of virtual servers in AWS or something like that to get up to an appropriate load. Like if this is just dynamic resource balancing.
Yeah. All right, so here let's look right now. Let me add a window here.
Because I mean, it's you and I were raised in the generation where like a WoW server was a blade in a data center somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's an old concept now.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking here. Lost Ark is current playing.
Holy smokes.
And 24-hour peak is 1.3 million. That's kind of crazy.
Man, they gotta be just over the moon.
Right? So if you go back, if you look at Steam charts, the next closest is CSGO, and it is at 462,000, with peak at 991,000, which is CSGO, right? That's just... and then after that's pretty significant drop-off. I wonder where... Destiny is still at 65,000. Where is New World here? Not in the top 25. Oh my god, Bill. I'm looking here. Stardew Valley is beating New World.
I think
New World is at 30. 28,000 concurrent. Kind of crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. 51 million hours played.
In Lost Ark or in...
In Lost Ark so far. The peak today was that it hit at 1 o'clock today. It was 1.3 million.
Well, the other thing too is I think Lost Ark has been pretty heavily streamed today. Like it seemed like every... Well, I wonder how much of that, like what feeds what? Like if you go on Twitch, for example, Lost Ark is being played by a huge number of streamers, or it was earlier tonight. And I wonder how many of that leads to people jumping into Lost Ark and just trying it out, especially with it being a free game.
Yeah. That makes a big difference, right?
So in a, like, what does it look like in 3 weeks? What's the staying power of that? I doubt it's going to be number one again, but where does it actually land?
But the difference that you're not seeing is that you're not, like with New World, even at launch, people were having fun, but there were tons of complaints, right? And when I've watched streams today, other than Q Talk, I don't see a ton of complaints about gameplay mechanics, about structure of the game, stuff like that.
Now, do you think that's a function of it being just objectively better, or is it a function of the style of game being kind of an action RPG compared to a regular third-person MMO?
I think it's its age. It's a couple of years old. It's been running in Korea. All the bugs have been worked out. Like this is a mature game that's being launched in a new market that has been localized, not just languages but some aspects of the gameplay as well. And we've got a limited amount of classes compared to the Korean servers. And chat rooms saying most of the complaints that they saw this weekend was how complex the game is, which you haven't quite gotten that far yet. But I was mentioning in the stream earlier tonight that there's just so much to look at, right? But yeah, the age of it is just so so helpful for that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, having a game that's actually finished does iron out a lot of those complaints, doesn't it?
Right, and one of the issues that I saw with New World was the lack of tools in place for testing and fixing issues. Too many times you saw hot fixes that just broke more, and that happens sometimes, but when it happens all the times, that makes me think that it's maybe a little bit more of a pipeline issue than simply a bug issue. So they didn't even have a test server for the first 2 months or so.
Yeah. Well, they had... Yeah. I think they were transitioning. Like, I don't think they... When they were quote-unquote out of beta, I don't think they were actually out of beta. Like, I think they just decided to name it end of beta because they wanted to put live on the servers and couldn't live in beta forever.
Yeah.
I don't think it was done. And but mind you, what's ever done these days?
Yeah, Juliet Jake in the chat room says...
Yeah.
They think that games are used to getting launched in a people are getting used to games being launched in a broken state, and this was a pleasant surprise. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm 100% on board with that. I tread very carefully on brand new games these days for exactly that reason.
And it's not just MMOs. MMOs just have so much more complexity to them, so many more systems to break.
Well, geez, like Cyberpunk was the glowing example of that,
right?
For quite a while.
Yeah. And my understanding of the new Battlefield game was that it was more systems that people didn't like, rather than things like there were some stuff that was broken, but it wasn't like New World economies broken levels of broken. It was more, wow, this game sucks.
Well, I mean, it is Battlefield. Battlefield went straight downhill after 1942.
Huh.
Yes, I'm very old. I'm okay with that.
Well, I'd hope so by this point. I don't know how many people in the chat knew, but I had COVID a bit ago, and I was off work for 3 weeks. And the students wrote a tombstone on the whiteboard in my room with my name, Stone Age to 2022 was my birth year, was Stone Age, and the little writing on the bottom was partially beloved band teacher. Yeah, gotta love high schoolers. Yeah,
a sensitive group you're developing there.
Exactly. Well, I've got 3 of my own kids in my music program, so what does that say about me? Yeah. Yeah. OBS does not like this splash screen loading. Like, the stream looks fine when I look at it, but it's like dropping frames like crazy. Wow. 50. God, I was so much lower, Bill. So much lower.
Yeah, I'm just crossing 3,500 now.
Whew. You're going to have to get caught up, though. You got a bunch of stuff to do in town. Pride Home? Is that what the first city's called?
Yeah.
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 There should be something. There should be like a mini game that you can play. If you do really well, it bumps you up in the queue. Right?
They'd probably want you like click on this ad to jump 500 spots.
The more you stare at the screen and don't blink watching the ad, the faster your queue goes through.
Oh, I would be gone like a shot. That's an uninstall button for me.
Did you hear about the new Movie Pass relaunch?
Yes.
So for those of you who don't know in the chat room, part of the Movie Pass, which used to be a service that launched a few years ago where you bought basically a subscription and you got to go see unlimited movies. It bombed. It went bankrupt. It's relaunching. But it wasn't sustainable. People were going to a movie a day and paying $15-20 a month. Theaters weren't making money. Nobody was making money. So it bombed. but they're relaunching it to be a subscription, and you get some movies, but you can gain more credits through them by watching ads in their system, but they're using software that tracks your eye movement to make sure that you're watching the screen.
Yeah, that's a level of...
That's a no for me, dog.
That's a step far.
Yeah. I can't. And yeah. Nope. Nope. Yeah. But maybe they could have us do Amazon surveys.
Nope.
Or they could have it, the splash page could be Amazon Mechanical Turk. Right? And you could do little micro jobs. I
wonder what minigame they could throw on there without it being looked at with just a huge amount of suspicion.
Peggle. I miss Peggle in the...
even get over commercialized or something like that?
I miss Peggle in the WoW menus. I'd play more Peggle. I'd play Peggle right now. Little side window at the side. That'd be great.
Sounds like you need a second monitor.
I have a second monitor. Do I need a third? I do like, going back again a little bit behind the scenes, I do like how much OBS is integrated into docs within it so that I don't have to run extra pages to get the chat, to get the stats, to get all that sort of stuff. It's quite nice. And again, I'm running at 0.8 of my CPU, and let's look at my GPU. CPU usage, what am I at? 44%. And that's with the GPU doing the encoding. Although it hates this splash screen, like I said, I'm dropping frames like crazy. We'll see what it's like when it goes in the game. I wonder if running both the games at the same time maybe did some things it didn't like in the background. Cross the streams. Speaking of which, Ghostbusters Afterlife, fun watch. Fun watch. Good for the whole family. We watched it as a family. It was good. Quite enjoyable.
Nice. I haven't watched anything in ages. I've been... Yeah, just haven't had a lot of time to sit down and watch anything.
Well, there's the new Reacher series that we want to watch.
My folks were telling me about that.
Yeah.
My dad's read all the Reacher books and is a big fan. He said he's liked it so far.
Well, and the Tom Cruise movies were good. I don't think that Tom Cruise embodied the character. The new actor definitely does. But he embodied because I read one of the books. He embodied the mentality and the spirit and the sort of the character of it, just not the physicality. There's a Responders, like it's called Responders, I think, with Martin Freeman. And there's that one that we want to watch, and we have to finish Book of Boba Fett. We have one more episode. There's a new episode of Discovery to watch.
Started that yet.
Oh my gosh. It's very good. Very good. I like all the Star Wars Disney Plus series, though. And Obi-Wan comes out in May, which is going to be exciting. More Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. Did you ever watch Long Way Round, Long Way Up, or Long Way Down?
No.
Oh. So it's Ewan McGregor and a buddy doing a bike trip. Their first one, they started in England and went all the way across Europe, across Russia, and then took a plane to Alaska, and then went from Alaska to New York on motorbikes. Great show. And then they did one where they went from England to South Africa and went all the way there. And then they did one where they went from the tip of South America all the way to... I don't think it was all the way like to the Arctic or anything, but it was somewhere in North America, like northern part of North America. No, you know what? It might have just been LA.
Mm-hmm.
But all of those series are really good. Lots of fun.
So apparently, so what was the peak today for Lost Ark? Did you say
1.384.
2.384?
No, 1.3. 1.3.
So apparently that puts it at the highest peak of any game ever on Steam, with the exception of PUBG,
Huh. Wow.
according to Reddit. A
Kind
dude
of
on
crazy.
Reddit. So that's my rock solid
Well,
source.
if the dude on Reddit said it, then that's it. It's fact. That's how this works, isn't it?
And PUBG was the... So PUBG had 3.2 million at its peak. At
Wow.
its best peak. So if Lost Ark is in second with 1.3, that kind of goes to show how goofy PUBG was.
Yeah. I wish we got WoW stats like Steam stats. Right? That's one of the things that by putting it on Steam, they open up their concurrent numbers. Right? There's no
here-
hiding it.
Here's one that we haven't even talked about yet. What do you think of Micro Blizzard?
Oh, that I'm so stoked by that.
Yeah?
I for the single reason that I know they're going to clean house, and I've been itching to go back to WoW, and I'm not paying anything to Blizzard in the current state, because while they're talking the talk, they're not walking the walk. I don't think about changing the workplace culture in a public way.
And that's the thing. That's what I was kind of wondering, is if Microsoft is actually going to inoculate against the culture problems that were there.
Yeah. So before we were playing Final Fantasy, Selene and I were playing WoW, and we were buying 6-month subscriptions because that's a good deal,
Mhm.
and it worked for us. And I think we were both only like a month and a half into our 6-month, and then all the news broke about everything that was going on at Blizzard, and we stopped playing like that day, and I canceled my subscription that day.
Yeah.
Even though I have friends that work there, right? And I understand that, but it has to be... things are not going to get better for them if the money is not impacted.
Yeah. Well, and my take on it was there's enough good games out in the world that I don't need to chase something that makes me feel uncomfortable,
Yeah.
or to buy something from a company that I'm not comfortable with.
Now, imagine WoW on Game Pass.
Well, that's the talk. That's exactly what I was going to say here. Because, I mean, Game Pass was already kind of a compelling idea to begin with. If it incorporates World of Warcraft on there as well,
Right?
well, there's no way that if it gets lumped into Game Pass, there's no way it doesn't become a cash shop game. More so.
You think?
Yeah, I think that the stuff that they've been sneaking in for a long time with the cash shop mounts and the
Yeah.
other.
But what else would they sell for WoW and still keep? I guess it would be. You'd have to think of it. It would really have to become a not maintenance mode, but it would switch from being one tier of game to like a Neverwinter tier of game. Neverwinter, the game itself I love, but it is one of the most awful, horrible cash shops ever.
Oh yeah, I was on a Josh Strife-Hayes binge,
Yeah.
and I watched his Neverwinter worst MMO ever video.
Right. It's a game built around a cash shop, right? Whereas I still think LOTRO is a cash shop added to a game, right?
Yeah.
It never feels like I have to admit I have a different perspective because I still have the lifetime subscription, right? So I get points every month. I never have to worry about a sub, and I get all the convenience items.
I have to admit, I'm pleased and a little surprised that they still honor that lifetime subscription. Like, that's turned into a pretty high value entity.
And that's, you look at a game like that, you look at some of the stuff that the company that makes Lost Ark, and I don't remember their name right now, but have done in Korea for the game. And it's really, there's a difference between that of people who love the game and don't need to make that extra dollar to just make that extra dollar. They want to keep the game going. And then, Neverwinter and Blizzard in a lot of ways, which are like, give me my money.
Well, and that's the thing. There's a vibe to a lot of games that's like, I understand everyone's in there to make their dollar and everything like that, but I appreciate a game that puts itself out there in a way that it tries to keep the integrity of the gameplay and the engagement between a player and the game at the forefront, as opposed to monetizing it. Like games where monetization is secondary,
Yeah,
are the ones that I find really appealing. I used to love the EA Sports games, Madden,
Right.
NHL, that kind of thing. I can't get into that anymore. That whole cash shop baked into a game that they already do, like, just the barest changes to every. I mean, I know I'm kind of punching down on something that's been said a billion times before, but it's the most egregious monetization that just happens to have a game kind of put on it that I can think of off the top of my head, and it's brutal, and I won't buy those games anymore. They just don't. It feels gross to play.
Yep. Yeah, Neverwinter feels like that too. Star Trek Online is very similar. I mean, it's the same studio, but Star Trek Online's a little better. Not a ton, but a little bit better. Neverwinter is, I think, a little bit worse. It's the minute the game has a quest that has you looking in the cash shop, that's when you can kind of tell what it's based around, right? Yeah, but I think if it went too cash shoppy, I think that it would definitely. I wouldn't have the itch to jump back into WoW, right? Which I'm starting to get. It's been, gosh, probably 8 to 9 months since I've played WoW, which is, probably one of the longest stints that I haven't played that game in 15 years.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think the only expansion that I truly missed in WoW. Actually, no, I missed 2 expansions. I didn't play Pandaria. Well, it was new.
Yeah.
And I didn't play. I played Cataclysm. Warlords, and I did play Warlords of Draenor. So yeah, I did play them all when they were new, with the exception of Pandaria.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of my timeline. I have canceled and uncanceled and everything like that many times, but
definitely pay. Joliet Jake would definitely pay a $5 add-on if they put WoW in Game Pass. What if they did it like that? Because for being on Game Pass, games get something. Microsoft pays something to the game to put it on Game Pass. So it's not like if WoW was part of Game Pass, Microsoft would not support the game. So
would be such an amazing gateway too to 10 million people that ever played WoW. Like, imagine if you could tell the whole world that we've fixed the culture at Blizzard, we're releasing a new expansion, it's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I expect you'd pay $60 for the box again, or the box, quote-unquote box.
Yeah.
But $5 a month to maintain WoW while playing Game Pass. What a gateway to get into Game Pass in the first place.
Yeah.
I actually really like that idea.
Yeah. 3,700, Bill. Passing 3,700.
Yeah, Jolly, I think you should send your resume over to Microsoft. I think you got a winner right there. You can use me as a reference, even. I mean, I wouldn't use me as a reference, but...
Thinking the same thing. Wonder, let me look. I'm going to look on Twitch and see how many other people are in the queue for Lost Ark.
Just measuring it, yeah. How many streams are sitting at the queue? Yeah, this is high quality Twitch stream.
Right? This is why everybody came to this channel.
Yeah.
If Twitch will load.
Twitch has a queue.
Twitch has a queue.
That would be... Wouldn't that be interesting?
Right?
The Lost Ark has the most viewers on Twitch too at the moment for whatever that's worth.
Well, it looks like most of the streamers are. Here, I'll flip this over. Most of the streamers are back in. I don't see a lot with queues. I see a couple, but we were just slow.
Yeah.
Silly Guild Wars 2.
All that screwing around in Guild Wars 2 messed it up.
Right. Yeah. So what did you think of the combat in the intro portions?
The 8 seconds that I was in combat or whatever it
Oh
was.
no, but you had a couple of combat bits in the prologue, and then after the wagon.
It was fine. It was an interesting start. I'm not fluent in it yet, so I was flailing around and not really doing great, I'm pretty sure, but it's it seemed fine.
And that's the thing, when I've mentioned it a couple times, when I'm playing, I'm not like, oh my god, this is the most fun ever. It's so well streamlined from one thing to the next, especially when you're questing through the story. And it's just seamless, and you just kind of flow through. And then I log off, and the next day I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can sneak onto Lost Ark again. Right? But yeah, I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's the seamless nature of it that I'm just like, ooh, I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, seamless. As we sit here for half an hour trying to get in.
I think it's more than that.
I think we hopped over at 10:15.
Okay. Well, you should be in soon, right? You're a few thousand ahead of me.
I was sitting at 13:37.
Look at that.
And now I just bumped down to 13:35.
You're so leet, Bill.
Yeah. Now I'm lease.
East Coast server has almost double the realms. Well, there's more people that live on the East Coast of North America, so I guess I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting.
From a Canadian perspective, Toronto being the center of the universe and all.
Well, what is it? Something like 90% of the Canadian population lives actually below the 49th parallel. in
I thought
Ontario.
it was like within 10 kilometers of the 49th parallel
Right.
or something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah. But yeah, that little part of Ontario. It'll be interesting to see as server
It's
technology improves.
the Florida of Canada, don't you
Right.
know? Canada's wiener.
To see if they can build a technology where they can just spool up more, AWS servers and, do everything through the mega server. Right. The only games that have really been successful with the mega servers are the ones who have declining populations. And yes, it's new technology when it came out then. I think didn't Rift go to a mega server? What other game went to a mega server? WildStar. WildStar went
Guild
to a
Wars
mega
2.
server. Guild Wars 2.
Well, I don't think they called it mega server, but same kind of idea where
Yeah.
all the PvE areas just kind of got rolled into a major population center. So,
Yeah.
and in Guild Wars 2 it was implemented really well because there's even the most kind of old medium level maps in the game still have a population in them, and you can still find people on every single map. And so, I think the population balance for that has worked out really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you have to be on at weird oddball hours of the night
But-
to find a map that's actually
Right.
dead.
But it's not 1.3 million people. Right?
Well,
So
you don't know that.
I'm pretty sure. It would be interesting to see if that's ever going to happen.
What, a mega server in Lost Ark?
Like, no, but not just Lost Ark, but just in any MMO where the server technology is built out where they can just scale servers everywhere. That's back to our conversation about queues and stuff like that. I would rather have queues for a while at launch, and if there's sustained numbers, then maybe add a server, right? But to do the thing that most MMOs do, which is to add too many servers and then have to merge later on, it's just, I don't like that idea.
Yeah, but the way I see it done, and again, Guild Wars 2 is my frame of reference here, it's just replication of instances. Like, I could see shards being relevant in terms of like data center latency.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're a person connecting to the game from the West Coast compared to the East Coast of North America, for example, if they were in the same instance, then I don't know that you could load balance that shard well enough to ensure that latency experience on the West Coast doesn't mess up what the person on the East Coast is seeing, and vice versa. Like, there has to be something central in that way, but I don't think like servers themselves can be. I don't think there's a need for them to be locked down to a certain number of people.
Mm-hmm.
I think there might be a certain number of people that need to be on an instance of a map at any given moment.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do in Guild Wars, is sometimes you have to switch map instances to line up with your friends and that kind of thing. But it's still all the same game, same instance, or same pool of players. Like, putting all the players in the same pool, I don't think is that bad a thing.
No.
I mean, it depends on the game too. Like, who knows how these things are designed on the back end. So it's probably a little bit ignorant to comment on that without knowing that what that looks like on their technology end. Oh, I'm into 3 digits now.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Okay, bear with me a second. I gotta step away.
Okay. I have to entertain the chat room then. Hi, Jake. How's it going? Just gonna check on Selenia, who's on her way home, so I want to make sure she's safe. What class are you playing? What's your main, at least? I know there's the roster. I'm maining Paladin. I'm going to play a Berserker for Bill, to play with Bill. Nice. Yeah, I enjoyed the Gunner, but... Or, no, the Gunner's not the warrior one, right? That's the more roguish one, right? The mobility one? Because there's the artillery-ish one for the warrior. I didn't love that one just because of the lack of mobility when shooting. Yeah. Yeah, assassin would be fun. I have a sorceress as well. But I don't know, it's just silly, but I don't like playing MMO characters that I create that are not my gender. And that's just a me thing. I don't have a problem with RPGs or any other game, but when I create a character that's supposed to be my avatar in the game, not when I'm playing through like Aloy in Horizon Zero Dawn. That I love that game and I love playing as that character. But yeah, in MMOs, it's just because that's supposed to be my avatar. I don't know. I just never connect with those characters. It always feels like I'm doing something a little bit wrong. But I think that's a me problem, not the game problem. I was mentioning earlier, I think that's before you joined, I have a friend who plays WoW who always plays a female character. Great. Good for him. He says he likes to look at the girl's butt when he's running around more than a guy's butt. Okay. Good for you. Don't care. Right? That's fine if that's what he'd like to do. Oh, well. What else? I've been playing a ton of Final Fantasy. Because Final Fantasy's pretty great. Selene and I play that. That's our main game. We are currently working through the second expansion. Is it Shadowbringers? Is it the second one? I don't remember off the top of my head.
Hey, I'm back.
Welcome back.
435.
Ooh, 2361.
Oh, pardon me. 394.
Ooh, look at you. No, it did Heaven's Word. The expansion after that. Shadowbringers or Stormblood, or something like that. I'm gonna have to look it up now. We were just talking about what Selene and I are playing right now. Final Fantasy 14. I'm just looking up the expansion titles. Come on. Where is... Oh, there it is. No, that's all the... Stormblood. We're playing through Stormblood. It's fun. The only thing it's missing is gliders. Oh, nice. Well done, Jake. I think I should tweet that they should include a queue waiting screen Peggle game. Do you think they'd go for it?
Didn't WoW get in trouble for that? that they had to take it out because it was a copyright thing or something like that?
But I thought they teamed up because it was actually called Peggle, and it was the exact game in WoW. I'd play Tetris in the queue here. You should be able to form parties and then play against your friends in the queue. Yeah, Selene and I are in Final Fantasy. We are level 68, 69, 70, somewhere in there. About 3/4 of the way through Stormblood. I think we've got 10 or so main story quests left to finish that expansion, and then we're on to the patches, post expansion patches. And what we usually do is we finish all of the main story quests for the expansion, and before we do all the patches, which send you back out to all the zones in the expansion, we run around and get all of our Aether Currents and finish all the quests to unlock flying in all the zones so that we can fly everywhere. Such a better way. It's not the best way to do flying, but it's so much better than WoW, Bill. Like, the whole having to grind the reputations, and it's just too much. I don't mind there having to be some stuff to do, but
I'm gonna beat the
onerous.
drum. Guild Wars 2 did mounts and flying better than every game, and it's not even close.
Well, but it took a while to get flying. Right?
It's still, well, and it's not even true flying, and it's still way better than anything else. So I'm in now.
Oh, good.
Apparently I'm level... Do you start the game at level 10?
Once you finish the prologue, yeah.
Oh, so I guess it did give me the finish.
Are you in Prideholme now?
I'm at the... It says Runa Pass, so probably not in Prideholme
Nope.
yet. So hopefully I still have all my progress. Rescue Armin. Oh, I've got a... So I lost my progress after I rescued the priest who was falling off the bridge.
So you have to
That's
do the
not
whole
too
cart
bad.
ride again?
I have like 50 bandits I have to kill or something like that.
Yeah, we do cheat. I do bring up guides for the Aether Currents in Final Fantasy. Talk about streamlined too. We just do the main story quests and we fly through them. Selenia, make sure she has her phone because I watch the cinematics and she does not. So she goes on Twitter or TikTok or something, and I watch the cinematics. Yeah, 1769, Bill.
Well, I'm in. I just killed my bandits.
Woo. Sorry, I don't remember what your answer was. Do you have to take the cart ride again?
Nope.
Oh, good.
Nope, I am... Oh, it's giving me the view of a city now.
That's it. That's
the overhead.
That's it. You're in Prideholme.
Oh, and now I'm in Prideholme.
Yay.
Oh, and there's no one here to meet me. I guess I'll just log out.
So, welcome to Q Simulator 2022.
Oh, there's a game we should make.
EA Sports. It's in the game. We'll come out with Q Simulator 2023 next year with a whole new roster. Think people would buy that, Bill? I think people would buy that.
Someone would.
Someone would. All right, we've already got the game designer in the chat room. I think Jake needs to be hired by Microsoft and build that game for us. But it has to be a yearly release. It's the only way that game would work. $15.68. Just keeps going back in time. What I do find funny is that the ships do not really interact with the water at all. Nothing's moving on the ships like around. They're just bobbing.
Yeah. Oh, now I'm looking at the tablet.
Ooh, that's
The
so
Ark
exciting.
tablet with the big bite out of it.
I'm 1400. Oh, we did you see the chat room, Bill?
Mhm.
We've talked, I think it was before you were here, we talked about doing a one-off. Bill's job got more challenging. My job got more challenging. Harry is now a celebrity. A star of stage and screen, as always. But I don't think any of us would have the time for a weekly podcast again.
It would be tough, yeah.
Not lack of desire, lack of time.
Yeah, that was always the challenge too, because I mean, sitting down and just BSing for an hour, which is probably what it sounded like most of the time, is fairly easy, but doing the prep work and trying to do a little bit of research so you sort of know what you're talking about, and putting a cohesive show together, and then all the editing and publishing work that Chris did, and like it eats a lot of time, like to try to do it well. I mean, if you do a crappy job of it, it'd probably be easy.
I am writing blog posts. I do have MMOreporter.com going again.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Holy cow, you're stepping right into 2004.
Right? Well, hey, that's how LOTRO Reporter started, which led to the LOTRO Reporter podcast, which led to MMO Reporter. Because when we went to the first PAX, that was just as LOTRO Reporter. Not really. I think we just had maybe 1 or 2 episodes of MMO Reporter. The first PAX we did together.
Oh shoot. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure it was roughly around the same time.
The first PAX, yeah. Did we have Harry jump in with us at that first PAX?
No. The first PAX that we did, we didn't have Harry for a couple years. But the first PAX was the second breakfast. Remember when they did the War in the North?
Mm-hmm.
So we went to that. I think the first PAX we went was you and me and our friend who plays WoW and his then girlfriend, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first one you went to. And we got the Guild Wars 2 shirts in the shop at the bottom of the escalators.
Yep, I still have those too.
I
They've
do
stood
too.
up amazingly well.
The War in the North one, my one of my kids likes to wear, and the LOTRO ones. Yeah. I still remember how tasty the sliders were at that second breakfast for War in the North. And you remember it was the community manager before Rick, before Sapience. It was a woman, I don't remember her name, but she left shortly thereafter. but she's the one who got us the invites for that War in the North one.
Mhm.
Not 3 digits. 3 digits, Bill. Okay, now you
Nice.
got to rush because you got to get everything done in the town so that when I log in, boom, out we go.
I just delivered flowers to Becca, so that's really
Oh,
important.
I'm so sorry because she's not very grateful,
Not really, no.
right? Oh, flowers. Why don't you just put them in the planter over there? Flowers
Like,
are
is there
so
stuff that I'm
2021.
supposed to actually be doing? Oh, I gotta open Verud's gift and get my horse.
Yep.
Look at my horse. My horse is amazing.
It's funny how there is more going on in the MMO world now. For a few years, I thought the genre was done.
Well, it's morphing too. Like you get like the concept of a MMO like we were talking about 10 years ago or anything like that has changed, I think.
I think yes and
The whole
no.
notion of go do some quests, finish them, hand them in, earn the rep you need to go do a raid or a dungeon or something like that. I mean, some of those constructs are still there, but they've been, a lot of the cruff has been taken out that
Yeah.
some people thought was charm, but I think maybe was just time sink.
Hmm.
Oh shoot, I got my horse, but now I don't know how to use it. I guess I should have been paying attention.
Ashes of Creation is still chugging along. League of Legends is putting out an MMO, right?
Oh yeah. Have you been watching that League of Legends animated show on?
I started it and it was really good, but I didn't do anything more than start it because I was watching it on a second monitor while I was playing something, and I'm like, no, that's not what this is for. Watching episodes of soapy dramas is great for second monitor. Like,
Yeah.
I'm finding New Amsterdam, great fit for the second monitor while I'm playing. But that one, it was like, oh, I want to pay attention. Can't yet, no. Plus, I don't find Final Fantasy is super second monitor friendly. It's too story focused. Lost Ark is very second monitor friendly.
We'll see. I'm still bombing around town here.
I'm going to try it at some point in the next little while with a controller.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yep. Just because it just depends on how it's set up. $568, Bill. $568
Nice.
down in the queue where I started from 6,600 in the queue. YouTube rabbit hole. Yeah, my problem with YouTube rabbit hole though, Jake, is videos are too short. So $490 under 500. Under 500.
Oh, I found the token vendor or something like that in the pub.
Mm-hmm. So many systems, Bill. And that's what I think it was Ken from Chicago was saying earlier, that people are just saying there's just so much to the game. 369. Nice. Yeah. There's been a longer queue than earlier today. The queue has gone slow. Lots of documentaries, yeah.
What kind of
Good one.
documentaries you're watching there? What's your top documentary view? I need to have something to put second monitor or put on my second monitor when I'm working. So I'm keen for that kind of thing.
You know, on Netflix, there's actually a great Quincy Jones documentary. He's the producer who did like...
Yep.
Okay, yeah. History stuff. Nice. My minor in university was history.
My history fix has been...
Okay,
the
hold on. I'm
Dan
just going to be
Carlin
AFK
podcast.
for the last little bit here. Bill, entertain the chat room.
Okay. I was gonna say, if for history, I've been listening to Hardcore History by Dan Carlin. There's a bunch of different series that I've really enjoyed. That said, he could read the phone book, and I think he'd make it sound good.
I'm back. And 55, Bill. I just jumped from 105 to 55.
Nice.
Life is good. This has been officially the most entertaining stream I think we've ever done. The visual excitement on screen has been unparalleled.
Top 10. Yeah, you could have watched this on mute and it would have been fantastic.
I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, I think I'm not too far.
All right. Thank you, chat room, everybody, for coming and hanging out. We'll do this again sometime.
Don't forget about your alts you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at.